Okay. What did he say?
Good afternoon. Before you stand, I have a fun fact today, and I'm happy to see each of you. It's good to see you, and good to have some people in our company who hadn't been with us in a while, so welcome back. So on this day, Governor Roy Cooper in 2022 declared this day, June 14th, as what holiday? It's a national day of observance. Flag Day. Did I hear Flag Day? So good job for those who said it. Good to see you. And we'll move right in. So it is a great day to be a Kiwanian. Kids need Kiwanis, and Kiwanis needs you. Please join me in saying our defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nick Fountain, do you need a microphone? Nick is going to lead us in song, and I'm going to run down and get a book. What page, Nick? I think he's saying he wants actions too, so if anybody wants to join in, let's do it. Out to the bowling, take it out to the ground. Promise of peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never come back. Root for the home team. If you don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Okay, thank you, Nick. Roger, would you share our invocation?
Please join me in our invocation. Dear Lord, we come before you today, thankful for this beautiful day and for the opportunity to gather together today in service to our community and to our children. We are grateful for our many blessings. This time of the year, we are especially thankful for the gift of fathers. We pray for your blessing, favor, and strength over every dad in the world, and for those who are seeking to walk closely with you in what can be a dark world sometime, and for those who just need to be reminded that you are real. We ask that you would keep their footsteps firm and guard their way, and encourage our fathers to always stand strong and to say no to what is wrong and yes to what is right. Bless this food and those who prepared it, and send us out of this place to make this world and our communities better than we found them, with your help and in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Roger. We do have a guest today.
I'm Art Raymond. I've brought along my son today, Art Raymond III. He's a principal at a high school in Henrico County, Virginia, father of our grandchildren. And we're proud that he's doing the visit with us today. Our big interesting thing is that our granddaughter, is going to be matriculating at NC State come this month.
Yay! They're packed.
It's the highlight of my life, to be honest with you. So, but anyway, welcome to Art Raymond and his wife to our get-together. Thanks.
Thank you, Art. We're glad to have you. Are there any other guests? Okay. So, Buck, take it away with membership welfare.
Okay, we do have some membership welfare items, and you started it, Art Raymond. We're really glad to have you back with us today. And we're also glad to see, even though he's got a walker with him, which he's not using, Phil Kirk is back today for the first time. Membership welfare items. I understand Gary Pendleton went through back surgery earlier this week. We need to really remember him in our prayers. And also our treasurer, John Collar. He's down on the Outer Banks where his brother-in-law is suffering from cancer, and I understand is in tough shape. So please remember that entire family in your thoughts and in your prayers. And I believe those are all the items I have. Does anybody else have any membership welfare items?
And we also want to welcome all of our guests online. It's so very good to see you right now. We're going to also acknowledge those birthdays.
That's right. If you look up there at the birthdays, we've got a list of our members who have birthdays this month. And if any have birthdays today or during the week, happy birthday to you. And we'll wish you happy birthday on the week of your birthday also. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have a few announcements, Buck. So if you can help me pass that microphone around, Dave will need it. But before Dave starts, we have our Salvation Army Scoops Challenge on June the 20th. And there's going to be a donation for the number of scoops that are scooped during the 11 o'clock hour to 3. We have 7 Kiwanis who have volunteered to scoop, so thank you for doing that. Cricket Harrell, if you'll raise your hand, she's leading this, she's chairing this project, so if you have any questions. However, if you didn't sign up and you want to come out and scoop some ice cream, please do from 11 to 3 at 443 Feville Street, Raleigh, NC. Wear your Kiwanis t-shirt and have some fun scooping some ice cream. Thank you. Dave.
Just want to announce that the Durham Bulls Kiwanis Night is next Thursday, the 22nd. This will be the last meeting chance for you to sign up. You can sign up online. We do have tickets available. We have some extra tickets if you want to bring somebody else. If you've already signed up, just go online and click on those. We do have bus service here from the church. It will be here at 5 o'clock. Supposedly leaving at 5:30. We have been known to wait a little longer for stragglers. So you have bus service if you don't want to ride on the I-40 parking lot, so rush hour. And one last thing in reference to our song today, the man who wrote that song never saw a baseball game. So don't let that happen to you. Sign up and come out next Thursday night.
Good job, thanks. And Courtney, sorry.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, to follow up for Dave, if you have already signed up, either online or in a past meeting, you should have already received your tickets. So please check your email, and if you have not, please let me know as soon as possible so that I want to make sure I fulfill those requests before I move on to the others. So thank you.
Thank you. Another announcements for Salvation Army. This 4th Friday, which is June the 23rd, Robbie, I was going to ask you to stand. I'm sorry you just put food in your mouth, but Robbie Wooten has signed up every month since he joined the club to serve. So thank you for doing that. We need additional volunteers. If you can do that, please let Cricket know today or let me know. Yes. You know what? Robbie is the outstanding new member because he carries the food each week to the Salvation Army as well, and he does a number of other things behind the scenes, so thank you. Thank you, thank you. But if you can sign up for that, please let us know. Hugh, do you want to talk a minute about a new committee you're working on?
Hey, so it's food drive time, and we support kids in the summertime who are out of school and need food, and I believe I am the only person on that committee. As we dwindled down to, I got Sandra on the committee. We talked about that this week, I'm sorry. So Sandra and I, we are on the committee for the food drive, and if you feel like that's something that you might have an interest in getting involved in, we could definitely use a couple more. We're gonna be deciding exactly how we wanna tackle that this year, and since we're sort of back to normal, and that would be helpful. So just see me after or something if you'd be interested in working with us on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Sandra, for chairing that. Our next item of business is our big fundraiser, and that's the pancake breakfast. We've been doing that for many, many years. I just want, if I can get Jason to stand up. Jason, you want to say, Jason needs a microphone.
I know it's June and the pancake breakfast is not till October, but we've gone ahead and put sign-up sheets on each of your tables. So if you are interested in helping out with the pancake breakfast, or if you have before, put your name on there, and I'm going to keep a spreadsheet online of everybody who is signed up. So never too early. And I'll keep bringing those back for the next few weeks so we get plenty of sign up.
That's fantastic. And if you'll put up there what area you want to volunteer in, it'll help us sort those. Jason is a new member as well, and he's chairing this committee, so thank you. We also have Gwen Vice is going to be chairing the financial and the tickets piece. Frances Bobby is chairing the sponsorship committee. And Meredith Little is going to chair our raffle chair. She's a new member, and this is her first time being involved. So anybody who wants to help these individuals on their committees, please do so. Now, Sam Strait, I don't see him here today, but our board approved his membership last night. So the next time he is with us, we're going to induct him. Alice, would you be willing to come forward and introduce our speaker today?
So, fellow Kiwanis, I'm very excited to introduce the speaker today. We have Jim Hayes, who is the CEO of the State Employees Credit Union. I know Jim because I'm the vice chair of the board for the State Employees Credit Union. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He is an undergrad from the University of Southern California, and he got his graduate degree in leadership and management from the University of Laverne. You may know that Jim Hayes is leaving us to go to the State Department Credit Union. We are certain that he will be very successful there. He has been very successful every place he's been. In the credit union world, Jim has been a regulator, he's been a CFO, and a CEO. And when he came to the State Employees Credit Union, he jumped right in. The board had been asking for some pretty big changes in our operations and how we were offering services to our members. And Hayes just jumped right in, and he got going, and we've been very pleased with the progress that has been made. The staff and member reaction to the changes that Jim has been putting in place has been extremely positive. In case you don't know, the State Employees Credit Union is the second largest credit union in the country. And we have over 2.7 million members, which means about a quarter of the population of the state. And we have slightly more than 50 billion in assets. So we've been around for a long time, and we've been pretty successful. And before Jim comes up here, I'd love to see a show of hands of who is a State Employees Credit Union member. That's what I thought. How about that? Well, I hope that you are happy with what we are doing. And Jim, I'll call you up.
Well, thank you, Alice. Always so good to see all of your hands up there. Thank you for being members. Thank you for being loyal members of this credit union. It's a great credit union. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we're changing, but I actually want to start off with some of the things that we're not changing, because there are some very, very important parts of this credit union that we are not going to change because they are all about you. And so we're not closing branches. We are not changing the way, when I travel around the state, and I have visited as many branches as I could in the 18 months or 19 months that I've been here, it is very clear that throughout the state of North Carolina, this credit union is weaved into the fabric of their communities. And given that we have branches in all 100 counties, this makes it an incredibly strong institution within the state. And that's not going to change. We are going to be updating a lot of technology, which I'll talk about, but we're not replacing people. It's really important. This is a people business, and we know that that's what our members want, is to work with a person, whether it's in person at a branch or on the phone. But we also are, and when I look across this room, I mean, you have probably been members for decades, and you want to keep that. And that's what's great about the board, is the board has this vision, and they say, listen, we know that we want to continue to serve the members the way we have over the previous decades, but we also have a generation of new members that are coming up, younger members that want to kind of interact with the institution a little differently. So we have to have that forward-looking foresight to say, how are we going to make sure that we stay relevant for another 85 years? So we are 85 years old now, and what has been such a breath of fresh air working with this board of directors, and Alice has been one of the head chargers of this, is what are we going to do to be relevant for another 85 years? What are we going to do to make sure that the younger generation coming up doesn't forget us and leave us behind? So there's a lot that with the credit union that's staying the same. Let me ask, Raise of hands, how many of you know what you were doing on April 1st, 1983? 1983. Do you guys remember what you were doing? I was still in high school. I can tell you that this credit union, your credit union, was doing a core conversion onto a system, a core system to serve our members. And the thing is we're still on that same system today. So think about technology, think about software. How often in today's world, how long does a piece of software last without it being, really updated? I mean, it's the life of that is not so long. We have squeezed every penny out of this piece of software that went live on April 1st, 1983. It's actually, by the way, it's called Bob White. I don't know who Bob White is. I think he's still alive, though. Somebody said he is still around, but it's his piece of software that is our core system. And so we are still on that software today, which is great. The problem with that is, though, as we try to be nimble and respond to our members' needs, as we try to respond to your needs, and we understand that the world around us is changing, we can't really change with it on a piece of software that was around in 1983. It's very difficult to do it. It doesn't integrate. It doesn't have all the integration and the APIs and everything else that software has today in the modern system. We do have a lot of our members that want to work with us on mobile. We have over 1 million of our members that will interact with us at least once a month through our mobile, our digital channel. And so as important as our branches are and as important as our people are, we really have to, in order to serve our members, we have to be able to kind of meet them where they are, right? That's sort of the way we would describe it, is we have to meet our members where they are. So whether it is that they want to go into a branch, whether they want to call in a call center, or whether they want to use their mobile phone and use a digital app, we've got to be able to meet them where they are. And so we're really going through this modernization, and it's a big project, right? 2.7 million members coming off of a system that has been in place since the 1980s. It's gonna take time, and it's gonna take a lot of energy and resources. It's a risky business thing, right? You really got to make sure you do it smart and do it in a really strong project management sort of way. And so we're gonna take our time and do that. I would say that the core conversion will take 3 or 4 years at a minimum. So this isn't something that's gonna be fixed in 6 months. We are looking at a new digital. So if you saw the news that we signed contracts with NCR, because there are some modern digital channels that will really help serve our members. I mean, that contract is all about serving our members and enabling our members to do everything, whether it's with their checking account, their savings account, with their insurance policy, their mortgage loan, their credit card. Everything can be done on the mobile app. And again, this is eyeing towards the next 85 years, making sure that we are paying attention to the changes that are happening in the world around us, paying attention to the competition. So if you think about it, in the 10, 20 years ago, you were fairly limited to the institution that you would do your financial services with, to somebody who was in your neighborhood or somebody who was close to your work. Today, consumers are just inundated with fintechs and other alternatives to do financial services. I mean, Apple has a savings account, Apple has a credit card now. And so our members are inundated with other alternatives from us. And so when we looked at the data, and again, working with the board, we looked at the data and said, well, what are our members doing? Because you are all incredibly loyal to SECU. When you fill out surveys, I mean, we just get the highest ratings, I mean, off the charts ratings. But then we go and look at how much business our members are doing with us. And what we noticed was a lot of our members were getting loans elsewhere, in fact, at an increasing rate. We were watching how much of our members were borrowing in total, and then comparing that to how much they were borrowing from us. And every single year, year after year, that gap widened, and more of our members were getting their loans somewhere else. And so we said, we probably need to figure this out. And I went back and we looked at some employee surveys, and from 2019 board strategic planning meeting, there was a survey done by a company and said, if you're not doing business with SECU, what's the number one reason why? The number one reason
that members were saying that they didn't call us their primary or didn't do something with us was that we had uncompetitive loan rates or we had outdated technology. They felt it. And so when I go around the state and we look and talk to members, and every time I go into branches, I try to meet members and talk to them, they love us. They love us, love us, love us. And our employees are incredible. They will do everything in their power to give our members great service. The problem is we don't make it very easy for them to do that. Today, our branch employees, if they're going to serve you, if you have all your relationships with us, they have to log into up to 12 separate systems in order to serve a member. Literally individual logons on every system. So it could be your checking account on one system, your savings account, a CD, it could be anything. And so again, it's this drive to say, you know, we really want to better the member experience. And so when we look at our strategic plan, so the board adopted a new strategic plan late last year, and it's very simple. It's a really simple business plan. You can, a strategic plan, you can read it on our website. It has 4 pillars, and in between the 4 pillars in the middle is all members. And the board was very, very focused on saying everything that we do has to point to member service. The 2 top pillars are member service and member experience and employee experience, because as North Carolina grows and more companies come in, there's also more competition for skilled workers and talent, and so we really want to give our employees a good experience. When we looked at the way what it took for our branch employees to serve a member and said, gosh, they have to log into 12 separate systems to serve a member, it's very manual and very difficult. And so part of this modernization is let's make it easier for our employees to serve our members, because when we make it easier for our employees to serve our members will get even better service than they get today. And so that's been the focus. So the 2 top pillars are, again, member service or member experience and employee experience. And then down below that, the other 2 pillars are safety and soundness. We're always focused on safety and soundness. I will say today the credit union has more than 10% capital. Our return on assets is over 1%. I mean, we're very, very healthy financially. If you have your money here, I promise you your money is safe at State Employees Credit Union. You have nothing to worry about. When it came, I had to answer some questions when Silicon Valley Bank failed. And so if you remember Silicon Valley Bank, 90%, I think, of their deposits were uninsured because they had all this clumps of money from venture capitalists and fintechs. We're just the opposite of that. We only have 9% of our deposits that are uninsured. So 90% of our deposits are all insured. And so for those of you who have money, and if you want to know if your money's insured, by the way, every account, it's not every account that is insured up to $250,000, it's every individual. So if you have a joint account with your spouse, for example, then your account is insured up to $500,000 because each person gets the $250,000 insurance, not the account. So that's a nuance that not everybody's familiar with. They think that the account is insured, but it's not. It's the actual person. So, and then if you have one of your kids as a beneficiary, that's another $250,000 of insurance. So you can get $750,000 of insurance pretty quickly by having, you know, a married couple and a child on an account. You got $750,000 insurance. And then, so safety and soundness is the other pillar, and then the final pillar is our digital transformation, because we wanted to make that one of the pillars in our strategic plan because it's such an important part of where we have to go and how we have to modernize. And again, if we completely ignore the changes that are happening in the world around us, we will become irrelevant to you all. And if not to you, then your kids and your grandkids. And the bottom line is we want to serve your grandkids. We want your grandkids to become members, and we want their kids to become members. And that has been the strength of this credit union. So, you know, working with Alice and the board of directors, they have such a forward-thinking thought on how do we make sure that we're relevant, and then we've got to respond now to make sure that we're relevant 20 years from now. And so it's been a fun journey. So that's sort of a synopsis of the changes that are going on. I wanted to kind of open it up for questions and ask you all if you've got any thoughts or comments, and I can address anything that's kind of crossing your mind. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Number 1, do you pay taxes like the banks do? And also, is there any advantage to you being a stock operation versus mutual?
Yeah, so we don't pay income taxes, but I will tell you that as a credit union, we pay a lot of taxes. We own property in all 100 counties, and all of our buildings and our real estate, we pay property taxes, we pay we pay payroll taxes. We pay every kind of tax except for income tax on our income. So there's a little misnomer that credit unions aren't taxed. They definitely are. They're just not taxed on the income. And in terms of a mutual and a stock, I mean, you know, banks are all stock driven, I will tell you. And I'm not anti-banking, I'm really not. Listen, stockholders of banks are that's the primary focus, right? So if you're running a bank, you're gonna drive profitability to try to get your stock price up because they're serving their stockholders. As a mutual, for us, you all own us. We only do well when you do well. We're locked in together. We are equal members. I have an equal ownership of this credit union that each of you do because it's one member, one vote, and that's it. So we all participate together. And so I do like the mutual, the co-op sort of version of it because it really keeps us honest. And we don't have any incentives. The board is a volunteer board. There's no payment to them. There's zero incentives to do anything but what's best for our members, period. That is it. We only exist to serve our members. And if we're not serving our members, then there's no reason to exist. That's it.
Hi, I'm one of the new members and also new to the area, having moved down from Maryland 3 years ago. And had a very interesting situation where we were a loyal member of SECU in Maryland, walked into the SECU branch only to find out that SECU is not SECU, it's state-driven. And knowing that we have so many halfbacks, if you're familiar with the term, and I don't mean football, but having so many of the halfbacks moving into the Carolinas, is there any potential for movement afoot to be able to go from one SECU to another SECU? Or you have to be an employee of the state in order to be a member?
That's a great question. The fact is there's actually state employees credit unions across the country. There's a state employees of Pennsylvania. There's a state employees of New Mexico. We're all 100% independent of one another, and that's exactly it can be confusing. And if you think in the banking world, it's kind of interesting because I remember when there would be like a First Interstate Bank or something, and then I went to another state. I was like, wow, there's another First Interstate Bank, and they were completely independent. It is because of the state system, and so each state that has a state employees credit union, there's literally no affiliation between them whatsoever. They are 100% independent of each other. Any one of them could actually change their name anytime they wanted to. And what if you were going to talk about whether it would be interchangeable, that would require them to merge. That would require two independent credit unions to merge together in order to do that. And there's no appetite really to do that I'm aware of. So, yeah. I do know state employees in Maryland, and it's a good credit union. That's a great credit union up there. But yeah, no affiliation whatsoever. I will tell you, I have gotten mail for state employees credit union, and when I opened it, it wasn't meant for us. It was meant for another state employees. Yeah.
So I know that this is true, and I've never asked the question. You can't have business accounts, right?
So that's one of the things that the board is actually looking at doing. So today, you're right, no business accounts because we don't have the systems that support it. That's one of the things that as we modernize our systems, I will tell you that crossing the state from the ocean to the mountains and everywhere in between, almost every branch I've gone into and every advisory board that I've met with have asked, when are you going to start offering business accounts? I mean, we have, of our 2.7 million members, we have a lot of members that own small businesses. I mean, they may own a landscaping business. They may own, a little office building. There's all kinds of small businesses and one rental unit, absolutely. And so It is on our roadmap. The board is 100% supportive of that. We just can't do it today because of our systems limitations. Again, going back to 1983 technology. But with our new systems, that 100% is going to be offered. So we will do business loans, business services when we can get the systems upgraded. Yeah. Alice is going to be our chair next year, by the way, so you're going to have some real clout with her. Yeah. What else?
Hi. My perception has been that historically the credit union has had very competitive interest rates for deposits, but less so more recently.
Yeah.
Is that a strategic decision? Could you comment
No,
on that?
that's a great question. Thank you. It's hard. So it's when interest rates have risen so rapidly as they do today. So what you see a lot of times when you see specials, and we've really had to sort of train ourselves. When you see something come across your screen and says, hey, we have a 5% 7-month CD. When you read the fine print on those things, there's a lot of limitations, right? So there's a lot of financial institutions that'll offer a 5% 7-month CD, for example. But if you read the fine print, it says it's only for new money. They won't give that rate on the existing money that's already there, and they're very, very limited on it. It's because of our systems being as limited as they are, we don't quite have the ability to sort of change our rates in certain buckets. And it's been sort of this one rate for all strategy. And as much as we like that, it's very difficult to keep up with managing our margins. I mean, we're a not-for-profit, but we're not a non-profit. We actually have to make money in order to add to our capital. And so we're looking at ways. So we have raised rates in our CDs because we do have that ability. We have not, I think our money market rate is over 1% now, but I hate to say this, it's another system limitation on the way we can be very competitive. But I would look for some more competitive rates in our CDs. We're going to be offering some higher rates as we go forward back into our CDs. That's coming. Now, I will say money markets make up almost half of our deposit balances. So traditionally speaking, you all have loved our money market rates. And so it's a little bit harder to be competitive on that bucket today because we just have to make sure we're managing our margins properly. But I will tell you, it's not about profitability on this credit union. This board is one. I have gotten the most pressure from our board on our deposit rates, and we are one that is almost a monthly conversation with the board of directors. Is when are we going to do this and get our deposit rates up? So very good. It's on our radar. What else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We enjoy that. Thank you for all your work, and we do wish you well. And we appreciate you coming and sharing with us today about some of the new opportunities. One of the programs we do is we donate a book to the school system for our children, and this has a tag in it, and we'd like you to sign it in honor of you for speaking with us today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sign it.
Right there, if you will. Thank you.
Sure.
And you're welcome to join our club. We meet here every Friday. Art, so good to see you. I've already asked. Oh, I'm sure there was a lot more clout there to ask from Alice.
I want to go to the next meeting for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Please do, the baseball game. We'd love to have you back. And good luck to your daughter at State. Next week, we do not have a meeting because of the Durham Bulls game this Thursday. So please be here if you want to ride the bus. And if not, we'll meet you at the game. On our 6:30, Rob Robertson from the North Carolina Forest Service will be speaking to us. And at this moment, I'd like to ask Hamp to come forward and share a resolution. And before he does, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the crowd, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hamp?
Thank you, Stacy. I'd like to mention that a lot of you know that I'm a alumni of NC State and therefore a loyal Wolfpack fan, but my hometown is Winston-Salem, so I was a Wake Forest fan before I was a state fan. Go Wake Forest. That leads into this memorial to our friend William Garrett, better known as Bill. Back when Clemson was winning a lot of football games and national titles, I would see Bill and I would say to him, "But Bill, you haven't played state yet." And he would look at me and say, "I don't think that's going to be a problem." So, to memorialize our good friend William Ansel Garrett Jr., whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr., son of William Ansel Garrett and Essie Harrison Garrett, was born on August 19, 1934 in 6 Mile, South Carolina, and died on November 27, 2021 at age 87 in Raleigh. And whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr. graduated from Clemson University with a degree in civil engineering, the Army War College, and North Carolina State University with a master's degree in public administration. He began his career at the Florida State Road Department. Think about that. Moved to Raleigh in 1961 and worked at the North Carolina Department of Transportation for 35 years, retiring as manager of the Public Involvement Unit. He also spent 30 years in the United States Army Reserve, rising to the rank of colonel. And whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr. was a longtime active member of White Memorial Presbyterian Church, where he served as elder, deacon, scout leader, Sunday school teacher, and member of the men's breakfast. He was a member of the Exchange Club of Raleigh, serving twice as president, the Sphinx Club, the Assembly Club, the 2500 Club, and the Carolina Country Club, where he was an avid golfer and tennis player. And whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr. was survived by Sally, his beloved wife of 62 years, his son, Walt Garrett, and his wife, Lisa, his daughter, Sally Meggs, and husband, Philip, and 2 grandsons, Jack Garrett and David Meggs. And whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr. joined the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina in 2012 and was an active, dependable, and valued member for 9 years. And whereas William Ansel Garrett Jr. was a loving family man who opened his heart and offered sound advice and counsel to his friends, to his children and grandchildren, and to the members of the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina, who recognize him as a suitable role model for any citizen who seeks to make a positive impression among his family and to leave his community a better place than he found it. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina, desires to recognize, honor, and emulate the life of William Ansel Garrett Jr. and the quality of the relationships he built. Therefore, be it resolved that the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina, hereby memorializes the life of a loyal member, William Ansel Garrett Jr., celebrates his career, and commends to all a life well lived and demonstrated dedication to his family, to his friends, to his church, and to the community. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread among the minutes of the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina, and be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be provided to the Garrett family as an expression of the affection and respect of the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh, North Carolina, for its member, William Ansel Garrett Jr., adopted unanimously by its membership this, the 16th day of June, 2023.
Do I hear a motion to it? Thank you. All in favor? Any opposition? The ayes have it. Please bow your head for a moment of silence in honor of Bill Garrett.
Really great. Appreciate it.